Hey there, YouTube land, and I'm taking a little break from doing my decades in horror type thing, basically to do a short video talking about my top 25 TV ones. So it's top 25 older TV shows that I would love to own, love to have in my collection that I don't have at the present. So hopefully sometime down the road I'll be completing them. There are shows that I have completed, like uh, like Magnum PI, which was a huge deal when I completed that. When I completed A Team, when I completed Miami Vice, and recently when I completed Columbo. Well, almost completed Columbo. I think I got one season left to get. But still, I got Remington Steele recently, which was a huge thing for me. Those are all shows from my childhood. So here's 25 shows from my kind of like from mostly from my youth and some, maybe a little from my college years, but mostly stuff that I really like. So with number 25, it's Hunter, and Hunter was an amazing show with Fred Dryer, uh, incredible Stephanie Kramer as well, and it was basically he played Hunter and she played Dee Dee McCall. Now originally this was supposed to be like a sort of a Dirty Harry type of series. Uh, Thankfully, they let Fred Dryer kind of create his own character with Hunter, and I really did enjoy the show. It was really good. I didn't particularly like when they changed over the main character, the main partner, because Dee Dee was really well. She fit in really well, and the other girl I just didn't think did it. She didn't like have that same chemistry with Fred Dryer, who played Rick Hunter. But at that point, it didn't work for me, which is his catchphrase. Number 24 is Alfred Hitchcock Presents, one of my favorite anthology shows of all time. My favorite one you'll see later on the list. Actually, it's probably going to be number one. And I loved it. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I grew up watching this. I grew up reading the books. And when I was a kid, he had these like mystery books and like kind of short story books called Alfred Hitchcock Presents. There'd be like daring mysteries, adventures, all these kinds of different books. They'd be like about this thick. They'd be hardcover. And I remember like there's a Three Investigators series. But I used to watch Alfred Hitchcock all the time. I remember the Joseph Cotton episode where basically this kind of like cruel like businessman that really doesn't show much emotion gets into a car accident, and he's alive, and he's trying to let him know that he's alive, but he can't speak, can't say anything, and they're basically getting ready to prep him, like to embalm him and cut him open, and he's desperately trying to let him know. The only thing that moves on him is like the pinky finger, I think it's on his right hand, but it's twisted behind his back, so they can't see it, and it's like it's twitching, and they don't see it. It has a great ending, but I don't want to give that away. But you really should check it out. Number 23 is The Outer Limits, a show that I really did adore. The original Outer Limits we're talking about, not the remake series. And it was always just a favorite of mine. One that I really, really liked. There was a lot of like cool episodes. I found that the newer series was much bleaker, but the original series did like a lot of these kind of really cool. What would you call it again? Kind of like Monsters of the Week episodes, and some are kind of like really neat, especially in the first season. They took a lot more chances. Number 22 is a little show, well, that I call SCTV. And SCTV was like the Saturday Night Live of my youth. Basically, it was done here in Canada. It was called SCTV, and sometimes it was called SCTV 90 because it was a 90-minute show. And at some points, this show became so popular that it took over when Saturday Night Live could not come on in the States. NBC used to show this instead of Saturday Night Live sometimes, and it was a smarter show. The humor was better written. The actors for me I thought were better, and the characters were just more was just more smartly written and just that much above Saturday Night Live. I really liked SCTV, and I thought that he just did things that Saturday Night Live couldn't even comprehend to do at the time, and to this day, I don't think they've really comprehended to be able to get up to that level. Uh, and though I do like Saturday Night Live, I think it's a good show. I don't think it was ever on the same level as SCTV, whether in the writing or the acting or just the way that it was structured and done. Next up is Happy Days, which was a favorite show of mine. I do love Happy Days. I love the Fonz, I love Richie, especially the early seasons of Happy Days. Before Richie leaves, it was like one of the shows I watched every single freaking day. It was incredible. And if you haven't watched Happy Days, go on YouTube, watch some Happy Days because it's a show that will actually make you happy. It's a show that will make you smile, and just gotta have some shows like that out there. We're at number 20, I think, and number 20 is, well, one that you wouldn't think about. I forgot it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I've wrote these all down. Is Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke was a long-lasting series, and maybe too long-lasting for some people. But I did like the early seasons of Gunsmoke. The really, Marshall Dillon, just an amazing, amazing show. Probably one of the few westerns that I have on this list. I don't watch a lot of westerns, but I did watch Gunsmoke when I was a kid. Gunsmoke, The Rifleman, Juan de Alive, all shows I watched, but Gunsmoke's the one that I wanted to add on this list. Next up is Knight Rider, which is a series that I did grow up watching. I did think was really fun. Is And it's so cheesy. So when you have David Hasselhoff, so like kind of like twin, like he'd be a bad guy. He actually has this little goatee, this like kind of soul patch goatee, because bad guys have goatees. So there had to be a Kit, which was the good car, and there had to be a bad car, and he literally, seriously, named him Karr, kind of like car. And when that wasn't good enough, they said, it's not good enough to have a Kit that looks bad named Car. He had to have like a big, like 18-wheeler that was evil as well. I think his name was Goliath. And it's so cool. It's so cheesy. If you've never watched Knight Rider, you really should. The original series, of course, with David Hasselhoff. My better half actually kind of had a crush on David Hasselhoff when she was growing up. The guy from Knight Rider. She was not aware that it was David Hasselhoff from Baywatch. She was quite shocked when she found that out. Were you shocked, my darling?
I completely deny everything you said.
Next up is Return the Saint with Ian Ogilvy. I do have the complete Roger Moore run of the Saint series. I just need the Return the Saint, the one with Ian Ogilvy. That's the one I did grow up watching more so than Roger Moore, to be honest with you. The opening theme to Return of the Saint is incredible. I really do encourage you to YouTube that opening because it has such a really cool jazzy score. I loved Return of the Saint. It was originally supposed to be called Son of the Saint, which might have actually done better for the series. It lasted one season. One season, two seasons. I think it was one season. It was amazing. Next up is probably the show that I watched most when I was a kid because this would come on not only like usually on Mondays and stuff, but every time another show was canceled or wouldn't come on, this show would come on in place of it, and that was Minder. If you haven't seen Minder with Dennis Waterman, you really should check it out. It's a really cool, like a British show. It's comedy. There's adventure in there. Basically, a guy named Terry gets out of jail for something, whatever the crime was. I'm not sure if he didn't do it or if it was something that I can't remember now that he that he did where it was like, but there was a good reason for it. Either way, he gets out of jail and he meets up with his old friend who like gets some jobs like taking kind of bodyguarding, minding people, and like doing different types of stuff. And he usually gets him saving the girl, like kind of saving the day. Sometimes they were just like comedic episodes. Sometimes they were like fighting bad guys. But overall, Minder was one of those shows that was a solid watch all the way through. I even did like the new Minder series that came on after he left the show. Both shows I thought actually did a really good job. They really did a really good job of kind of keeping the humor and the action going. Next up is Tarzan. And I was going through a list, but the Ryan Eli Tarzan series is one that I don't think is available on DVD, to be honest with you. But I used to watch it when I was a kid. Not only did I watch it, I had a record of it. I had the episode Tarzan, the Eye of the Lion. They had the episode on one side and the Tarzan, the theme song to the TV show with the yell Tarzan and everything on the second side. I really loved it. I wish I still had that actually. And I love Tarzan, the Eye of the Lion, but I love that TV series even more. Ron Eli did a great job. I think it was shot in Mexico. Ron Eli, a lot of guys will know as either from playing Doc Savage in the Man of Bronze movie, and some people are going to know him if you watch the Superboy series that came on. He was the guy that plays the older Superman in kind of like the alternate dimension one. Next up is Secret Agent Man. Although I've got The Prisoner, I do not own Secret Agent Man, the series that spawned The Prisoner. Patrick McGowan was fantastic in it. It was just one of those really cool shows that I loved when I was young, and I would love to own the series, and it has one of the cool, most hippest theme songs out there. Next up is Daniel Boone. I love Daniel Boone. Same as Davy Crockett. Same actor, but Daniel Boone just had something there for me. I actually used to have seasons of it that I watched with my son, and I love to own it again. It was just such a great show, so much fun, and it was innocent fun, and I loved it, and I loved watching it with my son. It was one of those shows we bonded on. Next up is Greatest American Hero. It's really amazing that I don't have this. I've only got the first season, which was the first 8 episodes. So I love to have the complete series of Greatest American Hero. It was a fantastic series. Its theme song actually became a pop hit back in the day, and I can't actually even think of the show without actually thinking of the theme song. They even did I think they did kind of a remake spin-off series on YouTube actually. They used to show on YouTube. It was 8 or 13 mini episodes type of thing, webisodes with different actors, of course. Next up is one called The Fall Guy. I used to watch it when I was a kid. It was like a huge series for me. And The Fall Guy was just a really fun show. It starred, of course, Lee Majors, who had previously starred in The $6 Million Man. So The Fall Guy is all about this stuntman who gets involved in adventures. He basically, goes after like bail jumpers and all this type of thing because he's making extra money as a stuntman. Because. And what's really cool about it, Lee Majors actually sings the theme song to the show, The Fall Guy. Yes, and another one where Lee Majors sings the theme song. Uh, in the scene of the episodes with the Bionic Woman where Lee Majors sings the song Jamie, it's pretty painful actually. But The Fall Guy is actually a pretty good song. I'll actually play that for after this video. Next up is Hawaii Five-O, the original series. I loved Hawaii Five-O. I own the first 2 seasons of it on DVD. There's like 10, I think, seasons of Hawaii Five-O. There's a lot of them. And I was a really big fan of that show. Even after the cast changed, I think William Smith was in like the last season of it, which is really awesome. My dad was a huge fan of William Smith, same as I. And it's all out on DVD out there. It's just expensive to get. And since a lot of the stores have closed down, since we no longer have Future Shop here, since we no longer have CD Plus, it's become a little bit harder to get some of these shows that we want to find. And I don't always like to buy things online. If I can find things at flea markets or stuff like that, I'll grab them there. But sometimes online can be fairly expensive, especially right now. Next up is, well, Mission Impossible. One of the greatest shows of all time with obviously the greatest theme song. And right now, they have the movie out there in theater, and the fifth one, I think. So I want to see that. In a couple weeks, hopefully I'll get to see that one. Mission Impossible, incredible show. Perry Mason and my good friend Preston Burger Matthew, he has all that show. And I'm so jealous because Perry Mason was such an amazing show, such great guest stars. Betty Davis actually guest starred in an episode of Perry Mason. I'm a huge Betty Davis fan. So hopefully one of these days I'll get that. And speaking of shows with great theme songs and great action on it, Peter Gunn is another one that had just like an incredible series, great action, good actors, and an amazing theme song. And Peter Gunn actually tied with Burke's Law for me, as in that spot. We're up in the top 6 now, and it's MASH, which is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, like comedy shows of all time. It's definitely my favorite dramedy show. MASH was just beyond anything that you would think of could come out possibly from like TV and actually come on TV. This was not a time when like TV was like really. I hate to say this, but this was not a time when a lot of the writing in TV was really smart. It really wasn't. There was some decent stuff, but a lot of it was by the numbers. And there's a formula for how TV shows were done. You can actually go back and you can watch shows and you can say, okay, I get that formula. MASH kind of broke out of that, and they did a lot of experimental television. They're one of the original shows actually really get in there and like kind of really do some different stuff. MASH ran for many seasons, much longer than the war that it was actually talking about. But if you haven't seen MASH, you really owe it to yourself to watch it and watch the complete series. It just really is that good. Twilight Zone is my favorite show probably of all time. And there's a box set out there. And it's not a Blu-ray box set. Actually, I don't care that much about the Blu-ray seasons that are out there. What I care about is there's this big box set out there. And it has the Twilight Zone and the 80s series together. You'll see it online. It's kind of expensive, but amazing. And that is, by the way, I got other shows I'm saying, but that is the top one, right number one on my list is the Twilight Zone. Next up is the Rockford Files, which again was another incredible show that I loved. And the recent show, Republic of Dial, shot here in Newfoundland, was pretty much a love letter to the Rockford Files, and actually was very much done in the style of that type of series. It's been a long time since I've seen a show like the Rockford Files. It was a very different type of a detective. Like James Garner was in it. He played detective, but he wasn't a detective that was kind of smooth and suave. Everything wasn't going right. He was getting beaten up constantly, which brings me into my next show, which I only have the first maybe half season of, and that's Mannix. Mannix was an incredible show. Again, another character there where he was tough as nails, and he got the crap beat out of him all the time. It was such a great show. 3 more to go, and Wise Guy. And I wish that all of the second season of Wise Guy, please get the music rights like straightened out so we can actually see the Dead Dog records, see episodes of Wise Guy as well. There was some really cool stuff. Tim Curry's in those episodes, man. Wise Guy, especially the first season, especially was pretty phenomenal. The Kevin Spacey storyline to Wise Guy was something that they couldn't beat for me. It was just amazing TV. And I loved the way the show was done. I love the structure of the series. I love the way that it was thought up, and it was just incredible. Number two is Crime Story. Crime Story is one that I always did enjoy. The late Dennis Farina was starring that one, and of course there was Anthony Dennison. Uh, it was a story basically of on one side we had the hero, like kind of like the leader of a crime team, a very untouchables type of team, and that would be Dennis Farina. And on the other side, Anthony Dennison played Ray Luca, who was kind of like this bad guy that in the pilot is like kind of like a low level thug, and he works himself up to like to the high in the rankings, to a very shocking first season ender, to taking the series over to Las Vegas in second season, where one of the villains, by the way, guys, is Paul Anka. Yeah, that's the fact. Paul Anka is a villain in the series Wise Guy. And Kevin Spacey also showed up as a wise guy as well. He would show up in a lot of these shows. And in that one, basically, he plays the senator. So he was in the second season, first episode of second season, with the series. Over there, kitty cat. And the last one in my set isn't. Okay, I'm totally distracted now. I have a cat over here that's driving me up the wall, and that is not. Yeah, so I had another show on my list, and I totally forgot what it is. But because I only own one. Thank you. Heart to Heart, great show, very Thin Man-esque type of series. Had Robert Wagner, and of course it had God, what's her name again? You know, Heart to Heart. What was her name again in Heart to Heart? Robert Wagner, and she acted in. Oh, hold on, got it here. Have the first season of it. It's the only season I got. Stephanie Powers. Yeah, Stephanie Powers. So this was the first season that was put out, and Sony's not good at putting out shows. I think this was put out. The rest of it was put out by Shout Factory. So it's really great. This is a really, really fun series, by the way. A really great show. So you can sit down and watch anytime. It's very light. It's it's kind of like a love and murder type of thing. They just do a great job in the show, and so Heart to Heart is the number one show. So it's 25 shows I think there that I really want to have in my collection. And if I had runners up, well, there would be. Three's Company would definitely be a series in there. The Love Boat would be another series in there. But that's for another video. We'll talk about that later. Thanks for watching, and for me right now, it's time for tea. Say hello to the great deities up there, the Pinlord, the Phantom, the Creature, and for me, for my better half, for the cats driving me up the wall, I am out of here. Have a great night.